welcome to the shop. Today I am working on a what appears to be a mid-60s Lyle 12-string guitar. Take a look at that fretboard. The frets very worn, very dirty, and the machine heads have been replaced. Looks like 70s style era machine heads, and we've got a ferrule here that's been replaced. So the guitar's been pretty well taken care of with regard to, the original machine heads were probably damaged or broken, and they've been replaced, so they did a good job with that. Truss rod is stuck. It won't budge, so I'm gonna have to get a little bit of lube down in there and get that thing working again. So it's 5 mil, nice big solid truss rod nut in there. Gonna have to get some lube down in there and get that working. Probably bend the neck backwards to break that thing loose. Original pickups, it's unfortunate that these things have been cracked, but we're gonna try and possibly restore these or replace the covers for these pickups. Haven't checked the electronics in this guitar yet, but it looks like the original volume controls, tone controls, they feel pretty good. The original switch, everything works. Beautiful red color. As we look at the back of this guitar, take a look at that, and there's the original neck plate. The neck's been off of this before. I can see that those screws have been turned a little. There's a serial number and the replaced machine heads, and the way we know that, as you can see down here at the bottom, the imprint of the original machine heads are in that, so definitely been replaced. So what we're going to do with this guitar is try and get it set up, and first thing I'm going to do is make sure that truss rod works, make sure the guitar is even worth setting up. So we'll be back with some more of that. Well, we're going to go ahead, gotten the truss rod to bake loose, and it works perfectly. I've gotten this fretboard leveled. We are going to do a level and crown on these frets. They are so dramatically worn that we're going to need to level this fretboard. So we're going to take care of that, and we'll be back while we're doing that process. Well, here we are. We got the fretboard all taped off, and it's time to color the frets. I'm going to go the opposite direction. Oh boy, I can feel those dents in the fretboard. These things are pretty wicked. Going to get this thing a level, get it all back in business, make it play like it never did. This is a fun part of my job. Are you having fun yet? Alright, so we've got the frets all colored. Look at that beautiful blue. You can really see the divots in the fretboard. Now, with our sanding block, we go in one direction, and we put 0 pressure on this sanding block, 0, and just allow it to follow the radius of the neck to maintain the radius, and we'll knock all these divots right off the tops of these frets. I'm guessing that we're going to remove about 1/1000th of an inch of material off the top of these, maybe 2/1000th, maybe even less than that. And we'll be back after I've made a pass. You'll see what's left. You can see that the low and high spots, look at that. You can see where those frets have been worn down from serious years of playing the birds. Right out here, this D note on the G string. Yeah, lots of wear and tear on that thing. A little bit more leveling to do to get these frets totally level. Now I'll be back with a picture of that. I'm gonna go eat lunch. Oh, the Lyle is coming back to life, and I have cleaned the fretboard. Look at that shit on there. That's, man. You know, I was a plumber, and I saw some nasty, and smelled and saw some nasty stuff. But that, man alive, that was on this guitar neck, all that guck on there. Wipe this guck off of there. The guitar's been leveled, the fretboard's been leveled and crowned at this point. Actually, it's been polished also. Here's, look at that. Isn't that gross? Imagine playing a guitar with all that crap on it. And the fretboard, look at that. Boom. Looks great. There's still a little bit of residue from cleaning it on these frets. So we'll knock that off of there. And about ready to oil this fretboard and start putting strings on this Lyle 12-string guitar. We'll make this thing play again. I love working on these old instruments. It's really fun. I'm lucky that I get to see so many cool old guitars. I'm blessed. There's the fretboard now, having been cleaned, and the frets are all polished and ready for some oil, linseed oil. I'll do a few drops on here. I don't think this thing hasn't been oiled in maybe a decade, maybe even longer. Who knows? And wipe it in. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
What's going on? Polished and cleaned this guitar. Pickups and all the plastic and knobs and everything. And polished and cleaned the fretboard and the headstock and the neck, and everything's nice and clean and shiny now. Takes about an hour to put a set of 12 strings on a 12-string guitar, so I'm saving that for tomorrow. So I'll be back with this guitar in another day. So we're working on the saddle for the old Lyle 12-string, and it comes with these beautiful little roller bridges for the guitar. The guitar doesn't have a tremolo system on it. They went ahead and put these roller saddles on the guitar, and none of them actually roll. It also has this plastic shim that sits inside the saddle holder. Also some screws that are currently soaking in 3-in-1 oil. Knocking the rust off of them, cleaning them up, and you can see how nasty that is. So those will be nice and beautiful when it's all said and done. And the other thing I did was shot this with some electrical contact cleaner, just a good old CRC automotive contact cleaner to knock a lot of the grime and guck off of there. And then using some Deoxit D5 to clean and lubricate these nylon saddles. Deoxit's safe to use on nylon. It also has a lubricating properties. These things are all going to be spinning. I've cleaned these already. This one I got to knock some more rust off of it. Clean it a little more as we get a little further along the road. So that's what we're up to. And then here are the saddle adjustments to raise the saddle up and down. And we'll do that adjustment here in a little bit. So that's where I'm at today. And oh man, look at those frets. Wow. We've got everything lubed and cleaned, and now I'm putting oil on the saddle. This is exposed wood. It needs to be protected, just like the fretboard. This was treated with linseed oil about 24 hours ago, and you can see how nice that wood looks now. If you want to reverse back in the video, you can see what it looked like before I cleaned it and oiled it. But we're doing a little coat of linseed oil here on the, you can see the oil on that, and how beautiful that wood looks after it's been treated versus without having oil on it. So about ready to get this thing put back together, try and get some strings on it. let's see what happens. I'm often asked about weird stuff that we find in guitars. I've found notes from grandfathers to grandsons, and hair, whether it be pet hair or some other form of hair. But in this guitar, I am greeted by a spider web down here inside the pickup cavity. It looks like a spider got in there and built a spider nest down in there. I may just have to take this thing apart to get that out of there. How cool is that? I haven't yet found money because most guitar players don't have it. They just have a bunch of guitars. Yeah. Yippee! Cleaning away. We are at the point that we're putting strings on here. They're certainly not tuned to pitch, but as we can see, I've got about, I don't know, what am I reading, 7/64 there, and about the same, or 8/64 on the high E. You can see that. The string height is way too high, and the saddle is bottomed out. So guess what this means? Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds. Go ahead. You got 10 seconds to think of it. You got about 5 seconds now. We are going to put a shim in this neck, tilt it down a little bit so I can get these string action correct. Here we go. So this guitar sat overnight. I tuned it up to perfect pitch last night and pulled some measurements on the guitar. I don't know how long it's been since the guitar had actual strings on it. It may have sat in its case for potentially years or even a decade without strings on it. And necks, especially on a 12 string, don't like that a whole lot, and so they'll bite back a little bit once in a while. Not once in a while. If the strings are left off the guitar for that long, I don't know, it could have been a year, it could have been a month, I don't know. It just didn't have strings on it when it arrived here at the shop. So we've restrung it up, and as it sat overnight, you can hear that the pitch is not on that string, and a couple of them have really gone wonky on me overnight. That one sounds a little out. Definitely out. We'll retune it up to pitch and get it back in business. Oh,
that was beautiful.
So after all that bullshit, let's see. Okay, where'd my valve go?
Looking for your juicer?
There it is. So we're cleaning up the electronics in this Lyle, and you know, I love my Deoxit. It's one of the best contact cleaners and lubes there is, but when the bottle costs 15 bucks and when you spray it, it does this. That's bullshit, and they are going to get a letter from me, man. That's like, what? That's ridiculous. I mean, I realize stuff fails, but that is not my fault, and what a waste of a really valuable contact cleaner, and it's getting on the finish of a guitar that I mean, it doesn't damage the finish of the guitar, but what a joke. So cleaning the electronics out on this guitar. Here we go, and rolling, rolling, rolling. We do the same thing to the other tuner or potentiometers. We'll get these things all cleaned up so they're crackling and buzzing, making awful noises that we don't want in our guitars. So again, you know, you don't need to be a gentleman about it. Turn it 1,000 times to get that contact cleaner down inside the guitar. You know, I've already cleaned these two, but I just want to show you how much of my $15 can of deoxit landed on my desk. We're going to do another shim in this neck. I can't get the string action low enough. The neck has definitely bit back a little bit overnight with the guitar sitting. The saddles are bottomed out. I can't lower the action any further, and I'm not going to alter the saddle on the guitar. So put a shim in there, tip the neck back ever so slightly further. Use a piece of birch laminate to insert in the guitar. There's the thickness of it. It's about 22 thousandths of an inch. I'm going to put that right about inside the neck pocket, right about there, and tilt that neck back a little bit, and that should allow me to raise the string action and make it adjustable. We shall see. I may have to do 2 shims, who knows.
Well, Lyle's all done. Unplugged, it sounds great. Holds tune really nicely. It's very well intonated. Can't do it perfectly for each string. It'd be great if the saddles would do that, but there's no way to intonate this for every string. Some 12 strings are set up that way. This one is not. I'm just running the guitar through a loop pedal down here, through my pedal board. Got a little bit of verb on it, and running it through my amplifier, and I'm using a big box cab IR, which is emulating a Marshall 1960A 412 with a Shure 57 on the cone. tube screamer and some delay on that. It sounds great. I did a little tracking tonight at home and used the guitar and checked the tuning regularly. If you record, check the tuning on your guitar every single take.